Opening, the Edo period, also known as the Tokugawa period, is one of the most significant eras in Japanese history due to its profound influence on Japan's cultural, political, and economic development, as well as its unique approach to isolationism that shaped its global identity. Spanning from 1603 to 1868, it marked over 260 years of peace and stability under the Tokugawa shogunate. In this video, we will explore the origins, development, and legacy of the Edo period, highlighting its key events, figures, and cultural achievements. Section 1, the origins of the Edo period. 1.1, the fall of the Sengoku period. The Sengoku period, or Warring States period, began in the late 15th century, following the Onin War 1467-1477, which destabilized the central authority of the Ashikaga shogunate. This era saw the rise of powerful regional lords, or daimyo, who vied for territorial control through continuous conflict. The lack of centralized governance led to widespread social and political turmoil. Three pivotal figures, often referred to as the unifiers of Japan, played crucial roles in ending this period of chaos: Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu. Oda Nobunaga introduced revolutionary military strategies, such as the use of firearms in large-scale formations, dramatically altering the nature of warfare. His innovative deployment of matchlock arquebuses allowed for coordinated volleys that overwhelmed traditional samurai sword tactics. This approach not only secured victories in pivotal battles, but also influenced subsequent military leaders to integrate firearms into their strategies, gradually diminishing the dominance of swordsmanship in Japanese warfare. His establishment of a castle system, with Azuchi Castle as its centerpiece, showcased his vision of centralized power. However, Nobunaga's abrupt death in 1582 left his mission incomplete. Nobunaga met his end in the Honnoji incident, a betrayal orchestrated by one of his trusted generals, Akechi Mitsuhide. Mitsuhide attacked Nobunaga while he was resting at the Honnoji temple in Kyoto. Cornered and outnumbered, Nobunaga committed seppuku, a form of ritual suicide to avoid capture. The motivations behind Mitsuhide's betrayal remain a subject of historical debate, with theories ranging from personal grievances to political ambition. Nobunaga's death created a temporary power vacuum, leading to further conflict until Toyotomi Hideyoshi avenged him and continued the unification process. Toyotomi Hideyoshi succeeded Nobunaga and continued the unification process. His famous sword hunt disarmed the peasantry, ensuring only the samurai class could bear arms. Additionally, Hideyoshi enacted land surveys, solidifying taxation and governance. Despite his achievements, his failed Korean invasions and subsequent death in 1598 weakened his regime, creating a power vacuum. Finally, Tokugawa Ieyasu emerged as the ultimate victor after the decisive Battle of Sekigahara in 1600. This battle not only secured Ieyasu's dominance, but also paved the way for the establishment of the Tokugawa shogunate in 1603. 1.2, the Battle of Sekigahara. The Battle of Sekigahara was a pivotal conflict between Ieyasu's eastern forces and the western coalition led by Ishida Mitsunari. Ieyasu's ability to secure critical alliances and exploit internal divisions within the western camp ensured his victory. The battle resulted in the redistribution of land, with loyal daimyo receiving extensive fiefs, thereby consolidating Ieyasu's power. The victory also marked the end of centuries of civil strife and the beginning of a new era of centralized governance. 1.3, establishment of the Tokugawa shogunate. In 1603, Ieyasu assumed the title of shogun, establishing his government in Edo, modern Tokyo. The Tokugawa shogunate implemented a highly structured feudal system to maintain order and prevent future conflicts. This system rested on strict social hierarchies and policies, designed to limit the power of the daimyo, such as land redistribution in the Sankin Kodai system alternate attendance policy. Additionally, the shogunate maintained control over key economic and political institutions, ensuring the dominance of Edo as the administrative heart of Japan. Section 2, the structure and society of the Edo period. 2.1, the four-class system. The Edo period introduced a rigid social hierarchy, rooted in Confucian principles. Society was divided into four primary classes: samurai, peasants, artisans, and merchants. Below these classes were marginalized groups, including the Eta Burakumin and Hinin, who performed tasks considered impure, such as leatherworking, animal slaughter, and execution. The Eta were vital for providing essential goods like leather for samurai armor, yet they faced severe discrimination and were segregated into separate communities. The Henin, often itinerant laborers or beggars, took on roles like street cleaning or acting as guards, also living on the fringes of society. Despite their low status, these groups played an indispensable role in maintaining the social and economic fabric of Edo, Japan. Samurai, as the ruling class, constituted about 7% of the population. They served as administrators, military officials and enforcers of the shogunate's policies. Samurai were expected to adhere to Bushido, a code emphasizing loyalty, honor, and self-discipline. Despite their high status, samurai faced economic difficulties due to fixed stipends. Peasants, forming the majority of the population, were responsible for agricultural production. They were heavily taxed, primarily in rice, which served as the economic foundation of the Tokugawa system. And merchants, though ranked lower in the hierarchy, thrived in urban centers, contributing to the flourishing economy. The emergence of merchant families, such as the Mitsui and Sumitomo, highlighted the growing economic influence of the commercial sector. Despite their lower social standing, the Tokugawa shogunate carefully regulated this class to prevent them from gaining political power. 2.2 Peasant uprisings, Hyakusho Iki. Peasant uprisings, or Hyakusho Iki, were a recurring phenomenon during the Edo period. These uprisings often stemmed from high taxation, crop failures, and famines. The Shimabara Rebellion 16371638, led by Christian converts and impoverished peasants, was one of the largest uprisings of the era. It culminated in a brutal suppression by the shogunate, resulting in the banning of Christianity and strict social controls. During the 18th and 19th centuries, famines such as the Kyoho and Tenpo famines exacerbated rural distress, leading to numerous localized uprisings. In response, the shogunate implemented reforms to alleviate peasant grievances, such as reducing taxes and distributing grain reserves. 2.3 Religious persecution and Fumi. The Tokugawa shogunate viewed Christianity as a destabilizing force, fearing its potential to undermine traditional social structures. Following the Shimabara Rebellion, the shogunate intensified its persecution of Christians, employing methods such as fumi, where suspected Christians were forced to step on religious icons to prove their loyalty to the state. Those who refused faced execution or exile. This policy effectively eradicated Christianity as a visible religion in Japan, though underground Christian communities known as Kakure Kirishitean persisted in secrecy. 2.4 Cultural flourishing Kabuki, Ukiyo-e, Haikai, and Sumo. The Edo period witnessed a remarkable cultural renaissance, particularly in urban centers like Edo, Osaka, and Kyoto. Kabuki theater emerged as a popular form of entertainment, blending dramatic storytelling with elaborate costumes and stylized movements. Actors such as Ichikawa Denjuro became cultural icons. Ukiyo-e, or pictures of the floating world, captured the vibrancy of Edo society. These woodblock prints had a profound impact beyond Japan, influencing Western art movements such as Impressionism. Artists like Claude Monet and Vincent van Gogh admired ukiyo-e for its bold compositions and unique perspectives, integrating these elements into their own works. Artists like Katsushika Hokusai and Utagawa Hiroshige created iconic works, including Hokusai's 36 views of Mount Fuji. These woodblock prints depicted landscapes, urban scenes, and kabuki actors, appealing to a broad audience. Haikai poetry, particularly the 17-syllable haiku form, flourished during this era. Matsuo Basho, Yosabusen, and Kobayashi Issa elevated the genre, using nature and human emotion as central themes. Bashozoku no Hosamichi, The Narrow Road to the Deep North, remains a literary masterpiece. Sumo wrestling, rooted in Shinto rituals, became a professional sport, with tournaments held in major cities. Rikishi wrestlers gained widespread popularity, and the construction of permanent sumo arenas reflected the sport's growing prominence. 2.5 The Sanken Kotai system. The Sanken Kotai policy mandated that daimyo alternate their residence between their domains and Edo. For instance, the Kaga domain, one of the wealthiest in Japan, experienced significant economic strain from the expenses of travel and maintaining dual residences, while economically smaller domains like Totori struggled to balance these costs with local governance needs. This policy ensured loyalty to the shogunate, but also left many domains financially weakened. This system served multiple purposes. It weakened the power of the daimyo by depleting their resources, fostered economic activity along travel routes, and reinforced loyalty to the shogunate. The construction of inns, roads, and post towns facilitated travel and trade, further integrating regional economies. 2.6 The policy of Sakoku. Under the Sakoku policy, Japan adopted a self-imposed isolation, restricting foreign trade to the port of Nagasaki. Trade was conducted exclusively with Dutch and Chinese merchants, who operated under strict surveillance on Dejima Island. Despite isolation, knowledge from the West filtered into Japan through rangaku, or Dutch learning, influencing fields such as medicine, astronomy, and engineering. Section 3 The decline of the Edo period. 3.1 Challenges to the shogunate. By the 19th century, the Tokugawa shogunate faced mounting internal and external pressures. Economic stagnation, natural disasters, and social unrest weakened the regime. Merchant families such as the Mitsui gained significant economic power, challenging the traditional social order. 3.2 The arrival of Commodore Perry. In 1853, Commodore Matthew Perry's arrival with the Black Ships forced Japan to end its isolationist policies. The event sparked varied reactions across Japanese society. Samurai and ruling elites were alarmed by the threat to national security, fearing the shogunate's inability to defend against foreign powers. Merchants, however, saw potential opportunities in foreign trade, while peasants remained largely indifferent or concerned about the economic burdens that might result. These divergent responses underscored the internal tensions within Japanese society as it faced external pressures. The signing of the Treaty of Kanagawa in 1854 marked the beginning of unequal treaties that undermined Japanese sovereignty, fueling calls for reform and modernization. 3.3 The Bakumatsu period. The Bakumatsu period 1853-1868 saw the rise of reformist movements, particularly in domains like Satsuma and Choshu. These domains played pivotal roles in overthrowing the Tokugawa shogunate. Figures such as Saigo Takamori and Katsu Kaishu negotiated the peaceful transition of power, culminating in the Meiji Restoration. Section 4 The Meiji Restoration. 4.1 The end of the Tokugawa shogunate. The fall of the Tokugawa shogunate in 1868 marked the end of over 2 centuries of feudal rule. Emperor Meiji's ascension symbolized a new era of modernization, with sweeping reforms in governance, industry, and education. 4.2 Legacy of the Edo period. The Edo period's contributions to Japan's cultural and institutional foundations are enduring. The emphasis on education, infrastructure, and cultural preservation laid the groundwork for Japan's transformation into a modern nation-state. Closing. Thank you for joining us on this comprehensive journey through the Edo period. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more explorations into Japanese history and culture.